Have a seat over here, please. Ms. Talbott, are you an officer still? Yes.
With the St. Paul Police Department, yes.
Okay. Again, once you're situated, make sure the mic is at your chin, and then make sure the little light's on saying it's available. Okay? Go ahead, Ms.
Thank you, Your
Sorgan.
Honor. Would you please state your name and spell your first and last name for the record?
Mikali Talbott, Mikalitalbott.
Where are you currently employed?
The St. Paul Police Department.
In what capacity?
Patrol officer.
How long have you been with St. Paul PD?
Hired in May of 24.
Prior to that, where were you employed?
The Minot Police Department.
Okay. In what capacity?
I was a master officer when I left.
When were you employed by the Minot Police Department?
From 2015 to 2022.
And how did you start off in the Minot PD?
I started off on patrol.
Okay. And at the time that you left as a master officer, what was your assignment?
When I had left, I was assigned to the investigations division.
Okay. And how long had you been in investigations?
Not quite 5 years.
What were some of your duties in the investigation department?
I was assigned to many different roles. The main one was to investigate criminal cases.
And you're a licensed, you were a licensed peace officer in the state of North Dakota, is that correct?
I was, yes.
Are you still a licensed peace officer in North Dakota?
I am not.
Okay.
No.
Since you've moved to Minnesota, that's changed.
Correct.
Okay. And could you please tell us about your training and experience?
For which department?
Minot.
I had over 1,100 hours of post-certified training through the state of North Dakota at the time of my departure.
And what is post-certified training?
It is approved training through the Post Board for peace officer standards.
And what kind of training specifically would you engage in?
Anything from like DUI stuff to interviews to crime scene to standard firearms training.
Okay. And during your time while you were in the Minot Police Department, did you receive any kind of special assignments with regards to investigations?
I did. In 2019, I was asked, along with another investigator, to review Anita Knutson's case.
And who was the other investigator?
Carmen Asham.
Okay. Case Agent Asham today.
Yes.
Okay. When did the two of you receive that assignment?
In, I think, September of 2019, roughly.
What did you do to commence your review of this case?
Initially, we were tasked with just reviewing tips that came in, along with gathering any evidence that was still at the state lab and itemizing it to see if everything was accounted for and making sure it was correctly logged in our system.
Did the nature of your assignment change after a period of time?
It did.
And how?
We were tasked with reviewing the entire case file, from any tips that were previously submitted to current ones that were coming in, along with all of the previous investigators' reports that were filed.
And how much did you end up having to review?
Thousands of pages.
Was there also audio or video information that you had to review?
There was photos, there was video, there was audio.
Okay. And approximately how many hours of audio and video did you have to review?
Couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you.
Okay. And you and Sergeant Asham reviewed all of this?
We did.
Then what happened?
From there, we were assigned to review it, and the department decided to bring in Cold Justice, who then assisted us with reviewing it as well on their end, and from there, an arrest was made.
Okay. Can you tell us about the Cold Justice portion of the investigation and how they worked with you and Sergeant Asham?
It was a week and a half where they came to Minot and reviewed the case. They assisted us with locating individuals and re-interviewing them, along with sending items out for testing to facilities that they had.
Okay. And the re-interviewing, who was re-interviewed that you recall?
Several people were re-interviewed.
Okay. Anybody in particular that you remember?
A lot of people, I guess.
That's okay. That's all right. During the time that you were working with Sergeant Asham and with Cold Justice with regards to this investigation, were persons of interest identified?
Yes.
And who was identified?
The defendant.
Okay. Were there any other persons of interest?
I believe Marty was one of them.
Marty Anell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else?
And I believe Devon Hall was one of them.
Okay. And in reviewing the defendant, Marty Anell and Devon Hall, how did you go about investigating and narrowing down the list of suspects?
Based on their statements alone, as well as evidence that didn't support either Marty or Devon being the person of interest at the point, and inconsistencies in the defendant's statement.
Okay. And then eventually an arrest was made, is that correct?
Correct.
And who was arrested?
Nichole Rice.
I have no more questions for Detective Talbott, Your Honor.
Mr. Sand?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Detective Talbot?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. You in St. Paul PD now?
I am.
Nice. When did you leave the Minot Police Department?
November of 22.
Can you tell me why you left?
Just personal reasons.
Okay. I won't go any deeper. So you did a full review of the case file in this case?
I did.
Okay. How long did it take you? A while.
A long time.
It's a big file. We had to review it too. Do you recall putting a report together?
I did. Yes.
Do you recall on March 9th of 2022, you spoke with a man named Vern Olson?
I did. Yes.
Is it true that Vern was a friend of Marty Anell?
He was. Yes.
Vern told you that he received...
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
It's true that you learned from your conversation with Vern that Marty committed suicide on New Year's Eve?
Yes.
And you learned from your conversation with Vern that there was something happened to Marty?
As far as
You learned that Marty had portrayed to Vern that something had happened to him. I can show you the report.
Sure.
That would help. Thanks. Just make sure I can show you the right paragraphs. If you could just look at 51 and 52 of them. Continue asking questions. Get a chance to look at those two
I
paragraphs.
did.
You learned through that conversation that Marty was a heavy drinker.
yes.
And that after Anita's homicide, Marty was never the same.
That's what Vern indicated. Yes.
And Vern indicated something had happened to Marty.
That's all I said was something happened.
And Vern spoke with Marty the night he committed suicide, correct?
For like 6 hours, I believe is what he said.
You learned that Marty had several firearms and knives.
Yes.
you learn they had a decorative folding hunting knife?
That's what Vern had stated.
Did you ever interview Devon Hall?
I did not know.
Why not?
I didn't need to.
Well, the state's attorney had asked you about the three people you were interested in. It sounded like Marty, Anell, Nichole Rice, and Devon Hall, but you didn't call Devon Hall?
I did not call Devon Hall.
Okay. Did you go visit him out in Montana, Fort Peck Indian Reservation?
I did not know.
Did you talk to the FBI at all that had pointed at Mr. Hall?
I did not know.
How long did you conduct this investigation after you reviewed the report?
In what capacity?
Making calls, meeting with people,
I started in 2019 with the report.
and then you arrested Nichole in 2022
Correct.
without talking to Devon Hall or the FBI?
Correct.
Cold Justice was in town. Did you do interviews alongside of Cold Justice employees or representatives of Cold Justice?
One would accompany me, yes.
So like a producer of Cold Justice or one of the faces of Cold Justice, a TV person?
Yes.
A TV person was sitting in on interviews you were doing during your investigation.
They were
Did
casual
they
interviews.
suggest that you call Devon Hall in their review?
As far as,
Give him a call. Go talk to him. See what he knows. Re-interview him.
they had a list of people they wanted us to talk to, which we talked to.
Devon wasn't one of them.
No.
And when you made calls, these people were sitting with you at points.
Objection asked and answered.
I'll withdraw it. I'll withdraw it. How long were they in town for? How long was Cold Justice in town with you guys?
I think 7 to 10 days. I don't exactly remember.
Did you have contact with them outside of the time they were in town?
We might have spoke on the phone a couple times, but I don't recall how many.
So they came into town, they worked, they reviewed the file, they worked with you guys to get justice, and then they were gone.
Yes,
Except for the documentary they released, right? They did that, right?
correct.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you, officer.
Ms. Sorgan, do you have any redirect, ma'am?
I do. Detective Talbott, the information that you learned from your conversation with Vern Olson, did that cause you to consider Marty Anell a suspect?
We had considered everybody at that point.
Okay.
Marty was one of them.
Okay. But the information from Vern Olson, did that bump him up in the suspect level?
Not that something had happened.
Okay. And did you learn through the course of your investigation what was it that had happened to Marty?
I believe that him and his girlfriend at the time were having issues in their relationship.
Okay. And this information that you learned from Vern of Marty owning several firearms and knives, were you ever able to independently verify that?
No, I was not.
Now, you interviewed other people in Marty's life, right?
I did.
Such as?
I don't recall names.
Okay. Do you remember his girlfriend at the time, Laura?
Yes,
Okay. How about a sister?
probably, if I could refer to my report.
Okay. Your report would refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Sure. Permission to approach, Your Honor.
You may.
Well, I keep flipping on this. You also indicated that you didn't interview Devon Hall, correct?
Correct.
And you said when Mr. Sand asked you about that you didn't need to, right?
Correct.
Why didn't you need to?
There was enough evidence to support that he was not in town at the time of the murder.
And through your investigation, what did you learn about where he was at the time of the murder?
Based on items that I reviewed, he was in Montana at the time of the murder.
Do you have any information as to who he was with in Montana at the time of the murder?
He was with a friend and the friend's family.
Okay. And what was that friend's name?
Jerron Vivier.
So your information in your investigation determined that neither Jerome Vivier or Devon Hall was present in Minot at the time of the murder?
Correct.
Okay. Now, some of the other interviews that you conducted, you said that you spoke with a lot of people, right?
Correct.
All right. You didn't speak with the FBI, is that right?
Correct.
All right. And what was your understanding of what time period the FBI had information from?
I think it was the beginning of the case.
Okay. So was it your understanding, would the FBI have had more updated information?
When I talked to them,
Correct.
they would have just the beginning portion of the case.
Okay. So they wouldn't have known anything new?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. And Mr. Sand asked you about the fact that you interviewed people alongside Cold Justice, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you said that they had a list of people that you to re-interview. Was this something that they were directing you, or was this suggestions? What was this?
They just put together a list that we also supported based on the case review.
Okay. And that was based on their investigation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And your investigation dovetailed with theirs, is that right?
Correct.
Devon Hall was not on that re-interview list, is that right?
Correct.
Why wasn't Devon Hall on the re-interview list?
Because there was enough evidence to support that
Asked
he
and
was...
answered, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Detective Talbott, was Devon Hall ruled out as a suspect?
He was.
Was Marty Anell ruled out as a suspect?
He was.
How about Jerome Vivier?
He was also ruled out based on him being with Devon.
Nothing further.
Any recross, Mr. Sand?
Just one thing regarding Mr. Olson. You had stated that you learned from your report that Marty started changing shortly after Anita's homicide. That you learned that from Vern, correct?
That's what Vern stated, correct.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Is Officer Talbott here by subpoena?
She is.
She excused?
She is.
Mr. Sand, any objections?
No, sir.
All right, you may come and go as you please, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next witness, Mr. Nelson.
The state's going to call Matthew Hansen, Your Honor. We're having difficulties texting for some reason, and I believe he's downstairs in the state's attorney's office, so I'll go get him.
Are you Mr. Hansen? Yes, come on up here, please. Come up here. She's going to swear you an oath.